This is storm alert coverage of Hurricane Katrina. The American Red Cross is poised to go in and help the victims of Hurricane Katrina.
And their national spokesperson tells the Weather Channel it could be a record-setting effort.
This response will be the largest natural disaster response in the history of the American Red Cross and will cost us multi-millions of dollars to provide services to families. That's the estimate at this point in the stage of the breadth of the destruction and the intensity of loss, especially if you're looking at a collapse of a city like New Orleans.
Some changes occurring now with the structure of Hurricane Katrina. Let's go to meteorologist Rich Johnson for an in-depth update.
All right, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Warren. Here's the latest information. First of all, our sky tracker. Here's a tornado watch covering portions of Florida eastward or westward into Louisiana. Notice the eye of the hurricane, the south part of the eye becoming a little bit ragged here. We think some dry air has been entrained into the hurricane, causing some slight weakening. Keep in mind it is still a strong Category 4, top sustained winds at 155. Not much difference between that as opposed to that low Category 5 we had at 160 earlier. Here's Louisiana right here, the tip of the coast right here, Southwest Pass in this area. Much earlier, 2-3 hours ago, some of the gusts were over 100 miles an hour. This is the eye wall right here. It's just about touching now the extreme southeastern part of Louisiana. Here's the eye structure, and notice off to that south side there. Hurricane hunters also have reported that it's actually becoming a little bit ragged, so that's something that we continue to follow. As we slide farther to the north, coast of Mississippi right here, we have Gulfport, Biloxi, then back over toward Mobile Bay. The eastern portion of this hurricane appears to be the stronger side, and it usually is many times, so we're still very concerned with the threat of inland flooding, surge coming in. Also, some of the buoys measured about an hour and a half ago up to 40-foot seas, little ways about 70 miles off to the south of Dauphin Island. So there's very high seas farther to the south. Surge will be a problem here. Let's head back and look at some additional information. Here it is, 2 a.m. advisory, central daylight at that point. Strong Category 4, 155 miles per hour. Moving to the north, that's the other change that we've noticed overnight tonight, is that essentially before it was moving more of a northwesterly course. The past 2-3 hours, it's made more of a curve, now essentially heading due north. Also notice with our water vapor imagery here is that that west side of this hurricane appears to have entrained a little bit of this dry air. There's a trough of low pressure farther to the west, and it appears that a little dry air has come in, and that may try to disrupt the circulation some. It appears that maybe just a little bit of that has occurred. Here's our track here. You can see basically off to the northwest in the last couple shots right in through this area here, so it may come in near Venice, a little bit off to the west as it continues to the north, but areas up along the Mississippi coast, Alabama coast, full force of all this water will be heading northward. Conditions will continue to deteriorate over the next couple of hours, and that's something we're very concerned about as we'll look at a very high water rise back over the Mississippi coast, Louisiana, southeast Louisiana, also over toward Mobile Bay with this water rise here coming soon. Once again, here's Warren, here's Bob.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Now, we're glad there's some deterioration on the west side of this now, but some viewers may be surprised to know where a lot of the fatalities from tropical cyclones come from.
Right. We talk a lot about along the coast and the impacts along the coast, and you might think, well, that's where most of the deaths occur. But look at that. Surge, 1%. Surf, 11%. Wind, only 12%. Inland flooding. That is where we see much of the death caused by tropical cyclones in the period in the U.S. from 70 to 1999. And that means if you're watching to the north, the Tennessee and the Ohio valleys, this is going to impact you, and you need to be prepared as Katrina makes its approach farther to the north.
Now, Rich was talking about winds exceeding 100 miles an hour around Southwest Pass earlier, but notice New Orleans, some strong winds, Warren.
Yeah, the winds are continuing to pick up in the New Orleans metro. We'll have complete coverage as we continue Hurricane Central coverage of Hurricane Katrina.